Shalom. First and foremost, call Allah, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. Peace and blessings also to the fellow laborers, the brothers out there pushing this truth, to the four corners of the earth, laboring in all diligence, righteousness, and sincerity, putting your life on the line to do so, occupying the prophecies and the faith of our Lord Yahweh Shai until we are delivered. So it's the brother Azariah back again with some breaking news. So this here on CNN coming out within the last hour. 3 U.S. troops killed in drone attack in Jordan, more than 30 injured. So we see that pretty much the hotbed of the earth where a lot of action is going down is taking place in that Middle East region, especially in Gaza, Israel, Jordan, Iran, Iraq. A lot of stuff is going on over there. So this just coming out now. The U.S. troops have been hit, and we already know that this is going to lead to what has already been a further escalation of war tensions in that region. And we already know, according to Joel, the 3rd chapter, Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, all right, that pretty much all of this is coming towards the Battle of Armageddon. And the battle is going to happen in that region, mainly in the land of Israel. This is where the kings of the east, Revelation 16 and 12, I believe, once the Euphrates River is dried up, the kings of the east, which is Russia, China, North Korea, India, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, those such nations, they're going to move their armies into that region of the world to do this final battle, this World War III. But before that happens, we're seeing a buildup of tensions. This is all biblical prophecy that's going down. So we are very near to the end game. Our salvation is nearer than what we believe. So let me read here. And it says 3 U.S. Army soldiers were killed and more than 30 service members were injured in a drone attack overnight on a small U.S. outpost in Jordan. U.S. officials told CNN, marking the first time U.S. troops have been killed by enemy fire in the Middle East since the beginning of the Gaza war. The killing of 3 Americans at Tower 22 in Jordan near the border with Syria is a significant escalation of an already precarious situation in the Middle East. Officials said the drone was fired by Iran-backed militants and appeared to come from Syria. So notice how Iran, which in the scriptures, Iran is known as what? Persia, which we were in captivity under the Persians and the Medes. But you keep seeing Iran pop up in the news. And we already know that America really want to get at Iran for a number of reasons. Iran, they have a nuclear arsenal. They're also oil rich. They have many other resources in that land. Really in the whole Middle East region. That that's pretty much like the oil. That region is very oil rich. So we know that the West, they want to take control of that. Also, what they're doing in Gaza, genociding those Palestinians, that's so they can take control of that strip, so that they can have access to the offshore abundance of oil, natural resource. This is why that whole Israel, Gaza, Hamas thing popped off in the first place. They want the resources of the earth. But yeah, Iran is a focal figure point in last days prophecy leading up to this Third World War. And this is why you're going to keep seeing Iran pop up in these headlines. Reading on, U.S. Central Command confirmed in a statement on Sunday that 3 service members were killed and 25 injured in a one-way drone attack that impacted at a base in northeast Jordan. 2 U.S. officials told CNN the drone hit in the vicinity of living quarters on base, and that three of the injured service members were medically evacuated from the area. The number of wounded is expected to rise. President Joe Biden vowed on Sunday to hold those responsible for the attack to account, saying that while facts are still being gathered, we know it was carried out by radical Iran-backed militant groups operating in Syria and Iraq. Okay, so we can see that America is calling out Iran. Okay, America is calling out Iran, but see, America is kind of getting itself into a battle that it really can't win. Okay, because when you look at the American military, they're short in all branches, which is why a draft is going to have to come back. Okay, they're going to have to do a conscription. Okay, which they already said that they about to do that in the UK. So America, they gonna follow right behind, because with all these wars and tensions that's popping off in that region, they gonna need bodies to throw out there. You see, because we're in a time of war. This is not a time of peace. This is a time of war and hate. So you can expect these things to increase and get worse as time goes on. Yeah, but they keep on calling out Persia, man. Like America really want to smoke with Persia. But of course, Russia is a guard unto Iran, okay, in those eastern nations. So, we already know that America is through. It's not what it used to be. Pretty much the nations now are laughing at America because of all of what's going on over here. The government is divided. The people are just freaked out, turned out, bugged out to the max. You see, so yeah, man, America is ripe for the taking. But let me get this real quick. Proverbs 20, and I start at 23. It says, diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. Verse 24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So with all of this that's going on, right, the Lord is putting his spirit on these leaders to do what they're doing. All right, it says in Revelation 17 and 17, Salakia, that what? For the Lord hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. You see? So man's goings are of the Lord. You see, because it would seem on paper, why would America keep going at Iran? Why are they involved? Why is America trying to play world police? Well, ultimately, because the Lord, the scriptures refer to America, Babylon the Great, is what? The hammer of the whole earth. So whatever nation rises up against America, or they start to step out of line, right? America views those nations as a nail, and America is the hammer to put that nail back down. You see, so this is why America is all over the earth. You see, trying to put its nose where it don't belong. And this is another reason why these nations have a problem with America, because they won't allow, America won't allow these other nations to live and have their setup. You see, but ultimately man's goings are of the Lord. These leaders don't even understand what they're doing. See, they're just following instructions given to them by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Okay, and it reads on, these service members embodied the very best of our nation, unwavering in their bravery, unflinching in their duty, unbending in their commitment to our country, risking their own safety for the safety of their fellow Americans and our allies and partners with whom we stand in the fight against terrorism. Have no doubt we will hold all those responsible to account at a time and in a manner of our choosing. Okay, so this thing is getting hot, man. Okay, this thing is getting hot, and let me jump here to this Albert Pike letter. Okay, because what's going on today? This was already planned out. Okay, hundreds of years ago. Okay, but of course, we just read in Proverbs 20 that man's goings are of the Lord. So the Lord put his spirit on these higher level elites, on these Satanists, to pretty much plan their own demise. Okay, so I'll start here at the First World War. Okay, and it says the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia. And by the way, this is a letter from Albert Pike to Mazzini, okay, which was a British official at the time. He was an elite, to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of aesthetic communism. The divergences caused by the agentur, or agents of the Illuminati, between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. And when you look at World War One, how the whole thing popped off, it was what's his name? Duke Franz Ferdinand or something like that was his name, and I believe he was it might have been Hungary, or so one of them European nations. Okay, but that's really how the whole thing popped off, and all hell just broke loose from that. But it was between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. Okay, so that was the purpose of World War One. All right, students of history will recognize that the political alliances of England on one side and Germany on the other, forged between 1871 and 1898 by Otto von Bismarck, co-conspirator of Albert Pike, was instrumental in bringing about the First World War. You see that? And if you do your research on these world wars, you will find these things to be very profound. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. Okay, which who do the Zionists go back to? Well, that's the small hats. Okay, the so-called JOOs. Okay, those rats that are in the land today. Fascists and political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism, okay, which that goes back to the whole Adolf Hitler regime in Germany, right? Nazis, is destroyed, and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. Okay, so the whole thing with Adolf Hitler and we gonna destroy so-called 6 million JOOs, that was really all set up. You know what I'm saying? All that was set up as a means to an end. Okay, it says during the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm, which is World War III. After the Second World War, communism was made strong enough to begin taking over weaker governments. In 1945, at the Potsdam Conference between Truman, Churchill, and Stalin, a large portion of Europe was simply handed over to Russia. And on the other side of the world, the aftermath of the war with Japan helped to sweep the tide of communism into China. And this is now the Third World War. Okay, this is what's about to go down that these world planners have had in the works for a minute now. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. Okay, now what constitutes the Islamic world? Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Palestine, Jordan, Syria, Iran, Iraq. Okay, this constitutes the Muslim world. So there's a war on the Muslim world right now. That's why America is so heavy on Iran and their proxies right now. Okay, because this is the playing out of the agenda. It says the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, pay attention, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. Okay, so we know there's going to be famine. We know there's going to be an economic collapse. We know there's going to be a military draft coming back. Okay, among diseases and pestilence. So a lot of death is coming down the pipeline. This is what the prophets have been telling you. You see? And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, these things will happen. Okay, very soon. All right. Check this out. It says, we shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery in the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. You see this? So they basically want the earth to be in such a state of hell. You see, because Christianity, okay, which this is not the true Christianity of the scriptures. This is GMO. Okay, this is GMO Christianity, man. All right, because really, we don't call ourselves Christians, but if you want to look for the true Christians, then you need to look for the men of the Lord, okay? Mainly the men of great millstone, okay? So they want to bring about a completely satanic government upon the planet Earth, which goes back to what? This NWO. So all of what they've been setting up since World War I to now is to establish a completely satanic, wicked rulership upon the planet Earth. Okay, this is, matter of fact, let me go to it. Let me go to Psalms chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore pleasure. So yeah, these heathen are raging because their vain imagination is to set up this NWO, this satanic world government upon the planet Earth. Okay, but hey, at the last, okay, the Lord is going to disappoint these damn devils. Okay, they're not going to fully realize their enterprise. Like you saw at Davos, they actually had a shaman, which is basically a damn witch, okay, go up there and she blessed their enterprise, okay? But the Lord is not going to allow them to set up this NWO on the earth, man. Of course, they are going to have some success. They are going to delete a lot of people, okay? But that's according to the Lord's will anyway, okay? Because most of these people, majority of the earth is wicked as hell. So the Lord got to knock off billions anyway, man, you see? But there is not going to be a satanic, set up upon the earth, man. No, the Lord is not going to allow that to prosper, but that's the vain imagination. That's the vain thing that these nations imagine. It says the manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminate at the same time. Since the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, world events, and in particular in the Middle East, show a growing unrest and instability between modern Zionism and the Arabic world. This is completely in line with the call for a third world war to be fought between the two and their allies on both sides. This third world war is still to come. And recent events show us that it is not far off. And yeah, it is not far off at all. Okay, these things are pretty much here. Only thing that we're waiting on is the implementation of the MOTB, okay, which is the rice grain microchip. All right, and after that, shortly is going to come the third world war. Okay, so look, man, the Lord, he is shortening the days for the sake of the elect. And one thing about it, we understand what's going on. The Lord is not giving us a spirit of slumber, you see, but we can see through all of what this devil got going on, okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So that's why 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, Yeah, I'll just get 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So yeah, we, even right now in America, there's a civil war brewing. But even amongst that, we know that this is a device of Hashatan. Okay, we know that even this is being set up because at the Texas border, they going back and forth with the federal government. But guess what? Governor Greg Abbott, okay, as well as Joe Biden, and many of these, governors, Gavin Newsom, Javier Milei, so all these people are plugged in with the elites anyway. See, they all plugged in with the World Economic Forum, and they're, puppets for the NWO pretty much. So we're not, although people may look at these and say, oh my God, Civil War, oh my God, World War III. Well, guess what? Okay, these are all devices of the left-hand side. Okay, so there's even a deception within the deception. See, that's really how deep the rabbit hole goes. You know what I'm saying? But only the hopeful elect of Yahweh Basham Shai are going to be able to understand and be able to, eat the meat and spit out the bones, okay? Which is what we're able to do. You know what I'm saying? The rest of this world, they're caught up in things on the surface level. You know what I'm saying? But they're not really tapped in with the spirit like that at all, ultimately because the Lord ain't dealing with them because they wicked and refuse to repent, okay? We close out on this, Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. Okay, so the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, whatever you want to say, however you want to swing it, Yahweh Basham Yahushua is in control, man. Okay, Yahweh Basham Yahushua is putting the spirit on these kings, on these leaders to do what they're doing. Okay, this is why they can't stop, because why? Ultimately, they're prisoners of prophecy. See, they must fulfill the words of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. They can't go outside of that, you see? Because they've been programmed, they've been set up to, they've been set up in their lot to fulfill a purpose for Yahweh Basham Yahushua. Okay? But yeah, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and setteth up over it the basis of men, which who is the basis of men? That's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay? This man came from, the caves, didn't have a language, didn't have, culture. He was eating raw meat. You know what I'm saying? Didn't even wear clothes or shoes. You know what I'm saying? The Lord set up the basis of men to rule over the earth. Okay? 2nd Ezra 6:9, it says, what? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Yahweh Shai and the hosts of heaven, they're going to return to a world that is controlled by Esau, that is run by Esau Edom. And he's going to take this rulership down and set it up over righteousness on the planet Earth. Okay, set it up over it a rulership that is profitable to the inhabitants and all of creation. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson here. Hopefully this was edifying through the Rakah Kadash. In closing, call Allah, Yahweh Basham Yahushua Basham Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, Shalom to the elect.